Evening, everybody. How are you this evening? We are going to talk a little bit about AI, and I'm going to just ask some questions you might not know that already exist and abilities that exist on your phones and that you might not. I actually expect everybody to know more than me, seeing as how old I am. Okay, now I want to ask, I want to start by asking you people, because the problem with artificial intelligence at the moment is that it is getting really, really bad press. It gets bad press because everybody looks at it and thinks, wow, this is going to take my job. Now, I want to tell you a little story, and I want you to think about this. Okay, so this artificial intelligence that we have to deal with right now has existed since Google started creating its search engine. Because what it does is this has now been on the market for that sort of artificial intelligence has been around for about 10 years. Because every time you type anything into Google, find me a kettle, Google identifies you as somebody who needs a kettle. And then they will serve you kettles in your search on the internet. And every now and then a kettle will come up, a new and better and cheaper kettle, or new and better and more expensive kettle will come up. That is already artificial intelligence, because the machine is learning what you're looking for and what your profile is, and it's feeding you that. And the worst one, the one who started the profiling the first, was actually Facebook. You are profiled by Facebook. Facebook knows everything about you, knows whether you're a religious person or whether you're an alphabetical person or whether you're a whatever you are. Facebook will know what you are. If you love cats, Facebook will serve up all the cat jokes for you. And when you start looking at the cat jokes and laughing at them, Facebook hears you, and Facebook now makes you a cat person, and that's part of your profile. That's all artificial intelligence. The only thing that has developed now is artificial intelligence has got to the stage now where it's going. It is really developing very, very fast. And now we can actually interact with that artificial intelligence. We can actually, instead of it just monitoring us and feeding us information and putting us into little bubbles, it is now creating a situation where we can interact with that artificial intelligence. Now, I really think we are now living, even this old man who didn't even know that you were going to get a thing that you could stick against your ear and talk to anybody anywhere in the world. In my day, you had to go and sit by the desk where there was a telephone that you had to go through a whole lot of people answering and plugging things in to be able to get to the right person. And as I've said here, but in the past, sometimes your signal would go right down. And what would happen when your signal goes down? It's all the people listening to your conversation. It's unbelievable. Anyway, now it's not people listening to your conversation. It's the computers listening to your conversation. And believe me, Alexa, who's sitting in the kitchen, is also listening to our conversation. And if you start talking a lot about, let's say you start talking about you need a new pair of red suede shoes, the next time you go onto Amazon or onto Google, you will suddenly see that, wow, there are lots of red suede shoes out there for you to buy. You didn't even know that. That is all part of this artificial intelligence world that we live in. And the reason we get so isolated or we have such strong opinions is because we get fed opinions from within this social media that strengthens our position. If I was a Joe Biden supporter, if I read and study stuff on Joe Biden, when I open my YouTube channel, I will get lots of things about Joe Biden. Why? And I will think, wow, everybody's studying Joe Biden. Look at this. No, the computer knows what I like and feeds me what I like. And even feeds me in small amounts things I don't like very much, because it knows I like looking at some of something sometimes. So that's all artificial intelligence. And it's a waiting game. It's a statistical waiting game. That's what it's all about. Okay, now I've got some questions which I want to ask, and please let's interact on this. Okay. So give me a 1 if you know what artificial intelligence is, and give me a 2. So you give me a 1, I know what artificial intelligence is, and give me a 2 if you use artificial intelligence. So go to the chat area and give me a 1, 2, or just a 1, or if you just give me a 2, I know you know what artificial intelligence is, and if you give me a 1, I know you know, but you don't use it. And if you give me a 2, I know you're using artificial intelligence. And I'm not talking about the normal stuff. I'm saying something like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Bing. The Bing's Microsoft's Bing as well. So there I've got a 1, 2 from is it Marta? Thank you, Marta. Great stuff. And John, and who else? Come, guys, give me a 1, 2, or give me a 2. And then I know you know what it is. Okay, so we know what artificial intelligence is. Artificial, and what you've got to understand, and I see there's quite a few people putting up 1s. What we've got to understand, what we've really got to understand is that artificial intelligence, right, is actually just a machine. It might be a machine that can think in a way, but it is a machine. And what it does is it works from data that it has. So if you feed it good data, it will come back with good data. But in the end, the human factor is still there. And you've got to think of it like a leverage, like a lever. It is actually a lever. Artificial intelligence is now the new lever of the world. It's not something terrible. It's something we have to learn how to use and how to manage. It's like in the days when the when the first cars came out here in the UK, they were scaring the horses, and everybody said these things will never take off. They scare the horses, and they're taking away the jobs of the people who look after the horses, and what's going to happen to all our lovely horses? Nobody wants to buy a car because the horse will die, and that's not going to work. So what happened? They had people run in front of the cars with a red flag to tell everybody that the car is coming. Can you imagine? Imagine if you had to, that's why we're driving at 20 miles per hour today as well. I think it's because people don't understand cars, but it doesn't matter. That's just life. We got to suffer with it. So we're back to people running in front of our cars with red flags. That's probably the next thing the councils will think up. Woe betide us. Anyway, can you imagine driving along? How far can a person run with a red flag in front of your car? It's ridiculous. Anyway, so the thing was then, okay, so now we got rid of the red flag people. The horses started being replaced. The farriers got new jobs as mechanics and building cars. And we repurposed the workforce to support the car industry. We needed service stations, we needed cleaning areas, we needed parking lots, so they had to be built. So all of a sudden there's a new industry as a result of the car. And now instead of us, if you had to travel from here to Manchester, where I'm in London, from London to Manchester, you could choose to go by foot, by bicycle, by horse. You could probably go by waterways as well. Or do you know that you could actually go all the way to Manchester by waterways, go the old Roman process of transporting goods? Or you could go by train, or you can go by car. Now, 2 of those methods are already into the new technology, and it's leveraging technology that gets us this ability to get there much quicker and to be much more efficient in the process of getting there. Now, if you went by bicycle to Manchester, it'd probably take you about 2 to 3 days to get there. But if you went by car, it's a matter of hours and you're in Manchester. And that is new tech. That was technology that in the early 1900s was scaring everybody and nobody wanted it. And that's where we are with AI today. AI is just a tool. And that's what we've got to look at it. We've got to see it as a tool. But the BBC has this one question they always ask, and now everybody gets a fright. I saw it again this morning on the BBC. I can't even remember what they were talking about. Oh, yes. They've got this new scanner that can detect cancer. And everybody was and ahhing that this scanner that can detect cancer in your body is much more efficient than what the radiographer is. And the last thing the presenter asked, which they always do this, will that take away your job? Well, yes, it just might. But then I can move on and do something more useful with my life, or do something, or it will create a situation where I might need to repurpose or something. And that is what technology does. If technology is not improving our lives, which it really does, and if technology is not developing so that we can use it as a process, it will also create new industry. It always creates new industry. That machine that can scan for cancer now has to be made. It has to be maintained. It has to have electricity. It has to be transported. It has to be calibrated. It has to be checked. It has to be software. It probably needs 5 people's jobs, new jobs, to get that one machine working, at least. So that's what artificial intelligence is going to do for us. Okay? So let me ask you another question. So my next question here is, how do you see artificial intelligence, your use of artificial intelligence in your driving process? So just give me something, if somebody would like to just comment on that and say to me, okay, in the chat, maybe just say to me, well, to look up, to find out what people fail on, or what this or what that. That's where you can use artificial intelligence. You can use artificial intelligence to help you find statistics. Yes, SatNav is definitely one of the examples. SatNav is artificial intelligence, because in the end, what it's doing, and it's been around a while, right? We've had that in the SatNav, that artificial intelligence has been plotting routes for us. It's working out the shortest route. And now it combines the traffic as well. The latest SatNav, which is Waze, W-A-Z-E, Waze has been around for quite a while. But what Waze does is it combines the traffic conditions, accidents. It looks at the traffic conditions according to time. And then it will plot the quickest route and the shortest route, or the route to avoid certain things. You can avoid motorways, or you can avoid toll roads, or you can do this, or you can do that. So it will work out. And if you get stuck somewhere, you can just redirect. And it's changed our ability to travel so much. It's unbelievable. Imagine if we didn't have SatNav. We'd have 10 more divorces every day than we had before, because the woman holding, or the man holding the map is not going to be going where he should, and there's going to be an altercation in the family because they didn't navigate properly. So I think SatNav has saved a lot of marriages. I think it's amazing, because I know that some people do have a little bit of a challenge reading a map. But yeah, SatNav is magic. It's absolutely magic. You know, if you think about the artificial intelligence as far as the satellite navigation is concerned, it's absolutely amazing. But that's a brilliant comment. Thank you very much for that. That is brilliant. Okay, guys, now what I also want to say to you, so that's one area. So satellite navigation, really important, very important. Okay. And now, I mean, this satellite navigation is so accurate that if I get in the car here and I'm driving down to Cornwall, which is 350 miles away, it will tell me what time I will arrive there within 5 minutes of the time I will actually arrive there if I just do normal speeds. It can be so accurate in determining your travel time. Obviously, if I stop off because I want a burger or I need to go to the toilet or something, or I need a bit of a rest, it will automatically stop the clock and then readjust the clock when I'm back on the road again. But those sort of things, it can't tell what you're going to do when you're on a really long drive. But it's very accurate in telling you how long it will take you from a certain point to another point, as long as you are continuously driving. Okay, so that is all that. Now, let us look at where we are at the moment. I want to show you, I'm just going to show you briefly, and I think I'm probably preaching to the converted here because you people are all much younger than what I am. So what I want to do is I'm going to just share my screen with you. Okay, so I've gone to Gemini, the advanced version of Gemini, and we obviously use satellite navigation in our school as well. Now, I'm going to ask it a question, and the question I'm going to ask it is, how can I get, and I'm going to use the microphone. Now, this microphone on here, I'm going to now click the microphone, and I'm going to ask it, and it's going to type what I ask it. So let me do that, okay? What do I have to do to get my driving license in the United Kingdom? Okay, so there I've asked it the question. Now, its ability to hear my voice and type my voice is already AI. That is a different version of artificial intelligence, because with my accent, it still understands me. Then now it's going to think. All right, now it's busy thinking, it's collecting all the information, and then it tells you, it gives you really, really good, clean breakdown of what you have to go through to get that. Okay, now that is, and you can read this, you can study this later, and you'll see it's pretty accurate. But what it doesn't tell you, because it's new technology that we have introduced, it says important notes at the bottom here. And then it talks about your driving test. It talks about what your driving test is. It tells you the whole process is there. It's written the whole process for you. You could take that, print it out, and then got to at least 15 years or 9 months, 15 years and 9 months old to get your provisional license, meet eyesight requirements, reside in Great Britain. And it's all here. It's all the information, all the basic information. What you need is actually here. Theory test, you have to pass your theory test, what the theory test is, and so on. And you can now ask it specific questions in specific areas. But it's not giving you everything you need. If I was to take this and turn it into an article, I would add stuff about how to use artificial intelligence to get your theory passed, how to actually get to use our driving mastery course as well, which helps you to get through the thing. So it's all there, right? So although it is good, it's still not as good as your brain. Even though it might have access to more knowledge, when you look at it, you can then use that to leverage that. I mean, you could have probably sat down, done the research, and written this up, and it would have taken you about a day to do. But this is the leverage. It's now given me a very good basic to work from, and I can now just check these things out and then add what I need. And that's what makes artificial intelligence so absolutely brilliant. And what we've got to do is learn how to prompt it to give us the right information. And the more information you give it, about the scenario, and you don't have to be a brilliant writer. You just have to give it the information it needs about the scenario to make the decision. And let's look at this here. Here's a question we had tonight. I am struggling with the theory test. How can I get better and be able to pass the theory test, which I continually fail? And let's see what it comes up with. And you can see there's a whole lot of targeted books and videos, special recite, explain. There's a whole lot of stuff you can read through and decide which of these you can actually get to. But now remember, it is not advertising anything to you. So in this case here, it's referring you back to the DVSA. And quite honestly, the DVSA's material is not the best in the world. But it hasn't latched on yet that there is brilliant AI material that you can use to pass your theory test. So it's not quite there yet. It's not quite caught up yet. But the advantage is you can leverage it and you can go through these and actually have a look at how you can actually work out how much of this, if there's anything that stands out in this answer that you can focus in on and help you get through that theory test. And it's come up with some good ideas and so on, but it hasn't really clocked to the knowledge of how to pass that test. So it still has flaws in it, and it probably, that's our saving grace. It's still not cleverer than what I know more about this, but I'm a specialist in this. But it's still a good grounding to start from. Okay, so I'm just going to stop there for a minute. I want to ask guys, okay, so is there anybody who wants to ask about this? Because what we've got is, if you understand how to use it and use the prompting correctly, there are a number of machines you can use. There is ChatGPT, which is really, really good. Gemini and Gemini Advanced, which is Google's product, so very good. And Google search has always been semi-AI anyway. And it interacts with you. I don't know if you guys noticed that it is. Let me show you how you can know that it's AI. Let's look at this quickly. It's just that all of a sudden we think, oh, we've now got AI. No, we have had AI for quite a while. I'm just going to show you my screen again. So here we are. So let me show you something. Okay, so if I put driving, now look what it's done. You see how it has interpreted below what I'm looking for, okay? So if I was looking for a driving test booking, I could just click on that now. Now that is artificial intelligence. It has used driving and linked driving to a whole lot of words. And it could be any of those words, but let me put in a C there. There you are. Crash course, classes, convictions, course, check. That is artificial intelligence. It is trying to suggest things that you might be looking for to make it easier for you to find. That's leverage. So even the Google search bar, and this has been on the Google search bar for ages. It's not all of a sudden. So that is also artificial intelligence. Okay? And it's not all of a sudden this is artificial intelligence. It's just that we are now able to interact with these machines, and that the machine can give us a much broader field of knowledge and capacity to work from. Guys, the life, you young people who are here on this thing, the world is your oyster, honestly. When I had to go to the, no, I'll tell you what happened. My parents bought a encyclopedia with 24 books. I'll never forget that. They thought they were going to help us. Well, they did do. It was a brilliant idea of theirs. It cost them 3 farms to pay for that flippant set of books. And I'll tell you what, this machine that we've got, that I'm looking at here, has got 1,000 times more information on it than what that encyclopedia had on it. And every year, that encyclopedia, once you paid for it, every year in the bush in Africa where we lived, we had this encyclopedia, and the people in the farms around us would sometimes come and look stuff up in our encyclopedia, because we were the only people who had an encyclopedia. Can you imagine people driving 10 or 15 miles across dirt track in the bush in Africa to come and use our encyclopedia, because nobody else had anything like it? It was an amazing resource. But you guys are walking around with that encyclopedia in your hands. That is so amazing. I'm flabbergasted. Anyway, so I just to show you that, don't think AI is new. This is new. Now, if I was the BBC, I would probably say, I wonder how many people lost their job when they created this. Well, no, a lot of people got their companies advertised and grew their companies because other people were using this resource. That's really what the answer is. That's the question they should ask, is how many people benefited from this resource? How many times have you typed in there and benefited from this resource? That's the question, isn't it? Okay, right. So let me go back. Now, next question. Was that useful? Give me a 1 for a thumbs up and a Z for a thumbs down. Come on, guys. Has that opened your eyes at all? Is it exciting? No, yes. Come on, come on. Are there any questions at the moment? Raquel, have you guys got any questions?
Okay, I do. So if I were a student, how would AI help me pass my test? That's the most obvious question.
Okay, so here we are. Let's look at that quickly. I'm going to just have to share again. Okay, here we are, guys. So how would AI help me? So let's go to an AI. Let's go to this AI. So here it is really simple. I'm about to do a test. Now let me find out what is the major point at which people fail their driving test in the UK. So now that was a question we had as well a while back. Hazard perception, maneuvers, junctions, and there you are. There it's telling you. So you can now go and study and make sure, check how are you doing with hazard perception, maneuvers, junctions, general awareness and planning, minor faults. And tips, practice with the ADI areas. Mock test, there's mock test as well. What am I going to do to pass? So there's information that I can use to improve and check whether I'm actually doing these things. So if there's something specific, you can ask specific questions. Does that answer your thing? That's one way of doing it. The other way is to find resources, which you can do. So you could say, okay, I need, where will I find a book about how to pass my driving test? And hopefully it can actually work that out for us. And then you can obviously, it's telling you where you can go and look, and then you can probably research official DVSA guide. It likes the DVSA very much. It thinks the DVSA are very good people. And then you read reviews, look up written by an examiner. These books, consider a book written by an examiner. I think that would be a really useful thing to find. So you can ask the questions to get the information and to follow through on the information, if that makes sense. Okay, I want to go and look at Rodot. Now, this if you went to this page, and you can all go to this page. Okay, so this is BDS London /Rodot. Now, guys, you'll see there it says, ask our AI bot learner driver question he cannot answer and be eligible. Now, why have we done this? Has anybody got an idea why we are asking it this? If you've got an idea, just put up your hand, or tell me why you think we've done this. Why have we challenged you to see if you can ask our AI something it cannot answer? Because this AI is trained on our services, what is available in the industry. It's got a whole wide range of stuff that you can ask it. And here we are saying, why would you challenge this AI of ours? Challenge this AI and ask it a question that it can't answer. Fill it in the form below, and we will give you a £10 gift voucher with a whole lot of services that go with it. So there's the talking bot. So you click here. If you click here, it comes. You've got it there, and then you can ask it, "Hello, who are you?" And it has to think about that. You see, it's not quite there yet. So it tells you, your AI sales assistant for Best Driving School. I'm here to help you with any questions you might. So it's answered. Okay, so there's a question I've just asked it. Okay, so let's see if it can help me out. Can you get me a test in Kingsford for next week? All right, and that's what I want to know. So it's thinking about it, and it's going to come up with an answer. And hopefully that answer will help you to get to where you want to be. Now, obviously, you can ask it things like, you can also ask it the sort of questions we were asking Gemini earlier. And that way you can interact with the bot and then decide at what stage you want the human interaction. But things like, where are you based? Where are you based? That's a good question. Let's see if it can answer that. It's still learning, guys. So the reason we've asked you to challenge it is because it's still learning. We're still teaching it and we're trying to find questions that it can't answer. I'm going to go for this £10. I've just asked it a question it hasn't really answered. It got it completely wrong. Lariska, do you want to answer this question? I asked, where are you based? You see, I didn't get there. Come on, Lariska.
Yes, it's giving physical address.
Yeah, it should say you must go and correct it. You must go and teach it.
Yes.
Lariska. Put it in, it's got to go and sit in the dunce corner for at least a day for this answer. This is no good to anybody. Yeah? Okay. So it should have answered, oh, we mainly do courses in central London and around the surrounding area and all the driving tests within the M25. That's the sort of answer we should have had there. But guys, we need to embrace this technology and use from this technology what we can use, and not be afraid of this technology, because there is a lot of good in this technology. And honestly, it will create more jobs than it will take over. I think it's very short-sighted to think that it's going to take over people's work, and that's the main thing it's going to do. That's just, well, that's if you look at all other technologies out there, that's what's happened. Okay. Okay, so is there anybody who's got a question they want to ask about this integration and using AI, which they feel we need to expand on a little bit? Raquel, have you guys got any more questions? Michaela? Have you guys got any questions I need to look into?
Yes, because I think maybe discussing the best prompts to use to get information from Rodot.
I think when it comes to prompting, sorry, guys, prompting is the question you ask. It's the question you ask the AI. I would suggest that you need to think about what is the problem. So when you are interacting with the Rodot or with Gemini or with ChatGPT or Bing or any of those, the prompt is the information you give. And the sort of thing you can do, I'll give you something really interesting. And this is what I would call just phenomenal. Let me show you. I'll show you this. This is something I can quickly show you. And then, but it's about what is your will and what is your need. What is it you don't understand? What is it that you need to understand? So this is the sort of stuff you can use it for. Okay, and let me do this. Okay. No skills. Okay, this is really interesting. So I've asked it, write a song about a very bad driving instructor with an old car and no skills at all. So let's see what it does. Now, this, you must look at this and think of it as help. These AIs can develop images for you, and it depends how well you prompt what you're going to get. So I'll just take a little bit of this out of here. And this is really interesting. I have a driving instructor called Rick, and he's actually quite a good instructor, I must be honest. I hope he didn't think I programmed the thing. So the AI decided to call it Rick, and he says, in the heart of the town where the streets twist and turn, there's an instructor named Rick with a license you'd question and spurn. His car is a relic from days long gone, rattles and coughs at the break of dawn. Chorus. Oh, Rick, the driving instructor, with no skill in sight, teaching left from right in the head of night. His car museum piece, barely alive. Students pray and hope they'll survive. The gears grind like a symphony of despair. All Rick tries to instruct, but mostly just stares. Mirrors, he says, they're just for show. And the brake pedal's a suggestion, go with the flow. Oh, Rick, the driving instructor, hazard on wheels, with tails, close calls, and squeaking deals. Guys, that's pretty good stuff. That is really not bad stuff. So there we are. So you can see this is where the writers of the world, and now you can add a flavor to this, and you could say, I need to make this more present day Essex, so rewrite it with, and you would prompt it and say, rewrite this with the Essex tang or something like that, and then it will change the whole way it works. Okay, so come on, people, you need to be excited about this. Your lives are ahead of you. I am heading for the end of my life, but it excites me that these facilities are there for you all. You are on the cusp of this. You need to embrace this technology and understand it, because your futures will depend on it. And the better you understand this, the better you use it. I mean, you have no idea what a beautiful CV this thing can write for you. You can say, listen, I'm applying for this work, and you can tell it the job you're applying for. And they say, please write me a curriculum vitae, which is going to catch the eye. And every time that we have another company where we help young people, gbw.io, guys, you should be engaging. If you need us to find you a job, I'll guarantee you we'll find you the job you want. as long as you've got the skill sets. GVW.io, there it is. So if you go to GVW.io, that's a company we're involved in. 100% will get you an interview. And then as long as you follow the way we set that up for you, we'll get you the job. That's one of our companies. And that's also because we're very engaged in artificial intelligence. Now, if you're an employer and you've got two people coming to you with a degree, and they both got art degrees, and they're both equally talented, and the one person says to you, oh, I don't use artificial intelligence because I don't like it. I've got a lot of talent, I'll just draw. And the other guy comes to you and he says, and you interview him and you ask him, what about artificial intelligence? And he says to you, no, look, I use artificial intelligence where I can and I get ideas from it, but I will tweak it to my own thing because sometimes I understand it a bit better, but it is good technology. Which one of the two are you going to employ? It's a no-brainer. For an employee, it's a no-brainer. I want the guy who's on the cusp of the technology because he's going to have the advantage over the other guy. It doesn't matter how good he is, unless he's a Banksy, then it's different. But if the guy's not a Banksy and he's competing with all the rest and his talent is just equal, I'll still take the guy with artificial intelligence. He might not have all the talent, but I do know he's going to be able to produce a lot more stuff. And he's going to be able to adjust it and learn. He's going to be learning because he's going to be learning from the artificial intelligence. So guys, don't underestimate what that thing's capacity is. Okay, that's me. I think I have preached enough to all of you this evening. That was a great session. Loved your interaction. And now,
Chris,
yes.
we just have one more question. Someone asked, does Radar help the practical driving course or test, for example, with maneuvering or roundabouts?
Yeah, I think the best place to get that is to go to the mastery, is actually to, because Rodot is going to give you words and it'll be able to tell you what procedures to adopt and things like that. So, but it'll be a word rich type thing because it's not into imagery. I think when you're doing something like roundabouts and so on, you need imagery to back that up, and it's an easier way of learning than just from that thing. A Rodot is a sales assistant, is really what it's about, and that's really what the challenge is. Can it give you the basic information about how to get your driving license and the basic information if you're stuck with something? If there's something specific within the driving industry that you need to know and point you in the right direction. But when it comes to the actual roundabouts or procedures on the road, I would say go to the mastery. And if there's anything there that somebody wants from us, we'll produce videos for it. I'd rather do it that way. So Lariska, you got to train Rodot to say that as well. Rodot's got to say, no, you need to go to the mastery course. Okay, guys, that's us done. Have a good evening.